Hey, our middle of the week. It's Wednesday. Tried to do a video last night, couldn't. Somehow the damn thing wouldn't work properly. Wouldn't register the camera, so what the fuck. It's a day late. But at least there's a lot I could talk about concerning Sunday. I mean, on a lot of counts. Uh, I'll start this before I get into Sunday. I'll do the one bit here as far as the Capitals are concerned. Yeah, it's a 3-game losing streak. Hopefully, you think you might get this thing righted tonight against Carolina. Who knows? There's problems. Um, it's in goal. It is not Michael Neuver. It's the guy they had brought up from Hershey. Holtby. I cannot pronounce the guy's first name. I don't know his first name. I'm sorry. But, you know, I hate to say this. He's just not ready at the NHL level. But guess what? Semyon Varlamov is stuck in Hershey. I've not heard anything about whether the Cavs wanted to call him back up or not. But there's things that need to be righted. Uh, so we'll tackle that. Or I can go into in greater detail in a later video. God knows when I'll do that. But I wanted to get to Sunday. A lot of counts here. You may not notice because I'm sitting here so close. You can't see it. Camera angle doesn't work. This is a Denny Hamlin hoodie, folks, but kind of a reminder of what Sunday was about. Anybody who follows NASCAR, they know what this was. Of course, Denny Hamlin drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. Is a yay. Anyway, Denny Hamlin actually was leading in the points going into the final race at Homestead on Sunday. Basically, he lost this on his own. It's great to see Jimmy Johnson win, his 5th straight title. I think I did a video on here back in February and said the only person that was going to derail Jimmy Johnson from doing 5 titles was Jimmy Johnson, and he damn near derailed himself. But as I was saying, Denny Hamlin kind of did this to himself, but it's cool. It's still second in points. Doesn't really matter that much. Well, okay, it does matter to me some, but it was still a decent race. I was actually watching that more than I was watching the Redskins game on Sunday. I really should have paid. I actually started paying attention more for that game by about the 4th quarter or so. This was an absolute horrid game Sunday. And this was the question of who wanted to fuck this thing up worse, whether it was the Redskins or Tennessee. It turned out the Titans just self-destructed in overtime. How this thing went into overtime is a miracle in and of itself. We have a goddamn field goal kicker, and Graham Gano, I think is how you pronounce it. We got to find another goddamn kicker. Believe me. Had a chance to win this thing in regulation time. Ball basically gets to the crossbar, and that's it. Goes into overtime. As I said, the Titans self-destructed. They just flat self-destructed. This got handed to the Redskins. I'll stand here and say that. But nobody really wants to talk about that fact as they do that they watched Vince Young go into a meltdown, to the point that he was essentially told by Jeff Fisher, guess what? You ain't starting anymore, not this year, and probably, I don't want to stand here and say we've seen the end of Vince Young in Tennessee, but, this is not the first rodeo. The guy has issues. It's all I can say is you have emotional issues. And unfortunately, they thought you had this in control. You did not. There's problems there, believe me. There's problems as far as that goes. There's problems. I can't think of what it was. There was something else on Sunday. Uh, can't remember everything off the top of my head. I wish I could, but I can't. Let's see. So I'll cover the Caps to start this thing. The Redskins, now the Wizards. I really honestly do not know what to make of the Wizards. I honestly don't. I'm the guy who stood here and said, we're just waiting for the point where you lose 50 games. What point you get to the 50th loss. Judging from what I saw last night, there's hope. Okay, you're playing Philly. You're playing the 76ers, who aren't really good. I mean, at this stage of the season, they're not good. And this game goes into overtime. And how it went into overtime is just, well, how it went in was that they had fouled John Wall on a 3-point shot, and he sank all three foul shots. The tie this game, send it in. Gets into overtime. Nick Young lives up to his new name, Big Shot Nick. Nails a tray to end. Well, basically, they just put the Wizards ahead, and they held on for this. There may be hope. Who knows? Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't lose 50 games. They're not a playoff team. I can stand here and honestly tell you that. But, they may not lose 50 games. I don't know. I can't get a handle on this. I don't think anybody really get a handle on this. But, Lord. Okay, so I've covered everything else except the Nationals. Let me think here. They offered Adam Dunn salary arbitration, which doesn't mean a fucking thing. It just means whoever the hell signs him, the Nationals will get draft picks out of this. Oh well. Small compensation, but hey, whatever. Still got to figure out the long-term plan for first base, but I don't think we'll know that until I think the winter meetings are about 2 weeks. Week and a half. I think, yeah, it's a week and a half from now, about 10 days, 10, 11 days. So that's usually when they see the big trades go down. So who knows? I keep seeing all the time, of course, the MLB Network on the background here, but I keep hearing these stories. The Nats are pursuing Javier Vasquez. They put in feelers about Cliff Lee. That's a pipe dream, I'll tell you that right now. It's a pipe dream. But starting pitching is what we really need. That and the first baseman. While we're on a baseball motif, I have something I gotta really say this before anybody jumps. You can look at what is going on now with the negotiations between Derek Jeter and the Yankees, and you realize this is not George Steinbrenner's Yankees anymore. And the reason it is because there seems to be this problem. Now, everybody read the Yankees offered Jeter like a 3-year, $45 million deal, and he turned it down. So the Yankees said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to offer arbitration to him or Mariano Rivera, but Jeter's what I want to focus on. We're not going to offer salary arbitration to him. That means they're not going to ask for picks, which they could really load up on this if it were to happen. But my point is this: seeing Derek Jeter in something other than Yankee pinstripes is an obscenity. It's a travesty. And you don't know what Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman are thinking. I got news for Hal Steinbrenner. Your old man would not have let this happen. Your old man would have stood there and backed up how many fucking Brinks trucks he could find and just handed to Derek Jeter and said, you're staying in Yankee pinstripes. That's what you're doing. That's what the old man would have done. But the old man's not here. So you can tell right away, I don't know what it is. Maybe this thing gets settled in a way that satisfies everybody. Who knows? But the simple fact of saying you're not offering salary arbitration to him, you're willing to let him test the free agent market. I said, here's the thing. As much as it would probably blow my mind to see Derek Jeter wearing a curly W on his cap, it's not going to happen. And it's not about money. It's because we have a shortstop in Danny Espinosa. As much as I would believe Danny would love to take a back seat if this were to happen, it's just not going to happen. I'm not kidding myself, and I don't think anybody else should kid themselves. But just the thought of seeing Derek Jeter in something other than Yankee pinstripes ought to offend everybody. This is just unnatural. It's an abomination. It's an aberration. It's an obscenity. I could call it a whole lot of other words. But I just figured, hell, I needed to say that, get that out of the way. So now I know my feelings on that. And that brings us to the end of this video. Lovely. We're at the end. So you know the spiel. It is I, your friendly, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know why I do this anymore. I've done it so many times, it's like you do it almost by rote. I said, I'll shake it up once in a great while. Anyway, we are done. We will catch up to you again when I decide to make a video. And again, I don't know when I'm ever going to do this. But in the meantime, enjoy your Thanksgiving. That is tomorrow. You may want to go with your family. I'm not. I have reasons. But enjoy your... there you go. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, people. I'm out of here. Oh, God. Oh, this is a long night. Now I'll settle back and watch the Caps here in about a half hour or so.